Hello and welcome to a Tuesday edition of Good News York, sponsored by Ads on the Go. GetAdsOnTheGo.com. Shout out to Zach. This is a very special episode. I am your host, Mike Brindisi. You can follow me on all socials at MikeBTV. And remember, we are on all socials at Good News York, GoodNewsYork.com. New episodes Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern. As I said, a very special episode. I'm joined by a very special person who works for a very special organization. And that organization is Erin's Angels of Central New York. With me, I have the Director of Fund Development and Communications, Jack Pflanz.
Thank you, Mike.
Jack Pflanz, thank you. And shout out to our producer director, Danny Tripodi, on the ones and twos. Again, I don't know what ones and two. I hear the kids say it, you know? Jack, you work for an amazing organization, but you're an amazing person as well. And I feel like in this industry, with what you do, you kind of have to be an amazing person and selfless. And that's exactly what you are. We talked about your background kind of off the air, but I want to talk about your background first because it plays a huge role in this whole story. Sure. So you're now, as I said, the Director of Fund Development and Communication for Erin's Angels. But let's go back in time and I'd love to hear your story about how you got to this point.
Well, first, let me say, you don't do this kind of work for the income. You do it for the outcome.
Oh, I love that.
Right?
Wow.
And so I grew up in food insecurity. I grew up in the projects on the south side of Utica. My parents, in their infinite wisdom, thought moving me out of the best school district in the city to the worst school district in the city in Cornhill was an upgrade. So growing up in that tumultuous time in the 80s in Cornhill, I experienced food insecurity firsthand. I went to bed hungry more nights than I care to remember. And, you know, my household was a hostile household. You know, I walked on pins and needles around my dad. He was an angry guy. You know, it was a love-hate relationship. You know, I had a lot of love for the guy, but he was a complicated guy. And he had a hard life, and he wasn't happy about it. But, you know, there were also times when things were good, and he was a great guy. And so it's a hard thing to balance. But, you know, my whole career, I've always worked in communications and in fundraising and development for nonprofit organizations. And in March, I was working with the United Way of the Mohawk Valley in development and communications. And that came to a stop, that came to an end. And I was looking for something to do while I was looking for work, because I'm the kind of person that if I don't have a daily purpose, if I don't get up and have something to do that means something, my depression takes a hit.
Boy, are you and I on the same page.
Yeah. And so one day I decided to put a message out on Facebook looking for someone to take a look at my resume. And the founder of Erin's Angels, which is a whole nother wonderful story, Sheila Dion, popped up and said, I'd be happy to take a look at it for you. So the more I looked into Sheila, I found Erin's Angels of CNY, and I looked at it and, you know, it just resonated with me. Erin's story, just food insecurity, hostile environment, being treated the way she did, just resonated with me to my soul. So I thought I have to be involved. So I volunteered as communications director from March until September. And then in September, the board approved the salary and brought me aboard full time.
Congratulations. What a story. And I said you and I are connecting on so many levels because, first of all, my father grew up in East Utica, and I'm very aware of the area that he grew up in and the area that you grew up in and the life that he had. So I just completely understand that. And I also understand the wanting to have a purpose thing. Do you feel that doing this work almost helps you heal a little bit?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think back on the different times that I experienced food insecurity, and I think to myself, this is my chance to make sure that other kids don't have to live the way I do.
Oh, Jack, don't make me cry on a Tuesday. Let's talk about food insecurity. You know, you and I know what that means, but not a lot of people do. Can you kind of just talk about what that definition means?
Sure. So food insecurity is basically the feeling of not knowing when or where your next meal is coming from. So I just recently addressed a group of people, in a setting. It was a check presentation, a donation being given to Erin's Angels, and there were probably 50 people in the room. And the first thing I did was ask, how many people in the room this morning have kids? And most people raised their hands. And I asked, how many of your kids had breakfast today? How many kids are going to have lunch today because you made it happen? And how many of your kids, when you get home tonight, you're going to be able to have dinner with? Imagine being a kid coming home on a Friday and there's no food, and then having to start Monday morning, having to learn, having to concentrate, having to study, and you're hungry.
And I tell, there's times at the dinner table where my son or my daughter will turn their nose to whatever dinner I or my wife made. And I am always quick to correct them and say, I don't think you understand. There are kids right now in this town that aren't having any dinner. And you need to appreciate that stuff. And
let me give you 3 words, Mike. 1 in 5. 1 in 5 kids in Central New York go to bed hungry on any given night.
That's way too many.
Yeah.
That's god awful.
Yeah. I had the same situation with my daughter. I have a 24-year-old daughter who's a graduate student now at SUNY Oswego.
Congrats.
And thanks. And when she was growing up, I had her about half-time, and I made a lasagna one day, and I put the lasagna in front of her. We sat down to dinner, and she looked at it and said, Daddy, I want something else. I said, sorry, kid, there's nothing else. I said, well, I don't want this. Well, that's all we have. I made her sit there for a good hour, and I caught grief on social media about it. But after about an hour, she ate it. And after that, and she was only like 5 or 6 at the time, she would eat anything I put in front of her. She would try every food under the sun. She tried Korean food, Japanese food, Chinese food. I wasn't going to deal with one of these kids that just eats chicken fingers and macaroni and cheese their entire childhood.
Yeah, I love it. Erin's Angels of CNY, a nonprofit organization dedicated to feeding children in need through school-based programs. We're going to get into that, but I feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about Erin and Erin's story. Are you comfortable talking about that?
Yeah, it's hard. It's an emotional story. I gave a presentation last week, and I heard later that I brought people to tears just by talking about her story. So Erin was a little girl who was in the Phoenix School District, and I didn't know her, but working in this position, I've talked to people who did know her, and there were reports of her going through garbage cans. When Erin was murdered by her stepbrother served 9 years. The parents got 2 years for neglect. And that's a whole other part of Erin's Angels, where we're trying to pass a New York State Children's Bill of Rights to establish a minimum standard of care for all children and increase the punishment and penalties for anyone who commits abuse against children 14 years or under. So that's a whole nother, we could do a whole week's episodes on that. But so when they did the autopsy on Erin, they found no food in her digestive system. It takes 2 days, Mike, 2 days for food to process out of your digestive system. And apparently she lived in what would be considered by most people a cage in her bedroom.
You mean like an actual cage?
An animal cage, an animal cage. Yeah, she was kept in her bedroom like that. And the conditions she lived in, to say it was squalor would be an understatement. Animal feces everywhere. It was just horrible. And, if we'd had the New York State Children's Bill of Rights today, or back then rather, Erin could very well still be with us.
My God.
Right. And so we are doing everything we can do in her memory to assure that other kids don't have to live the way she did.
Wow. Well, Jack, that was way worse than I thought it was. That is heartbreaking. As a human being, that's heartbreaking. But as you know, as a parent, it hits a little harder. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
And this is good news, York. So here's the positive spin on it. This is why Erin's Angels of Central New York exists.
Yeah.
What is the mission statement of Erin's Angels of CNY?
I've never been able to give it word for word, but basically what we're trying to do is bring together the people, the resources, and the means to feed the future of Central New York in order to empower kids to be a kid, to live life and not have to worry about food. No kid should ever have to go hungry. No kid should ever have to worry about going hungry.
Absolutely.
Right. So we're just trying to bring people and resources together to make sure kids can thrive as kids but also can thrive as adults.
That's wonderful. It's if you go on to the website or any of the social media for Aaron's Angels of CNY, it's overwhelming in a positive way, because it's not like you're just out there giving food away. There are many different programs: the Children's Bill of Rights, the Phoenix program, summer meals. You guys are doing so much. Can you talk a little bit about some of the programs and what you guys do on a day-to-day basis?
Sure. So one thing I'd love to talk about is our scholarship program.
Sure.
So we provide 2 $1,000 scholarships to 2 Oswego County high school seniors. One senior is from the Phoenix area, mandatory. Then the other can be from Oswego County. And this past year we gave out 2 scholarships. One was for trade school. A gentleman wanted to go to trade school. Another gentleman, his name was Douglas, who is a volunteer for us, is studying web design. And he was in the program. He got the meal bags every weekend. And so he kind of went through and understood what we were doing. And because of the meal bag program, he had food on the weekends. And now he's a college student studying design. And we have an event coming up on February 7th called the Purple Party at Monterey's at 6 o'clock. And the proceeds of that event fund our scholarship program.
Amazing.
Yeah. And so the Phoenix program you talked about is the kind of the core, the meat and potatoes of what we do. We have volunteers who come to the Michael Maroon Elementary School every other Tuesday, and they spend hours packing food bags for families in need who are facing food insecurity. Once those food bags are packed, those bags go to the teachers. So when the kids are out of class, if they're in gym, if they're in lunch or recess, those food bags find their way into the backpacks and go home on Fridays. And they do that for anonymity. So there's no bullying, there's no teasing of kids whose family have struggled with food insecurity. And so, we're all about inclusion. And we want kids to not have to deal with food and being hungry and food insecurity, but we also don't want to have them have to deal with being singled out by other kids.
Yeah.
Right.
That's beautiful. What do you think the biggest? I mean, there's so many, but is there one big issue that you think might be at the root of all the food insecurity out there for these young children?
There's one issue I can zero in on, but it's such a complicated issue.
Sure.
Poverty.
Of course.
It really comes down to that.
I agree. I'm in full belief that these socialist safety nets are set up. You hear people, as soon as they hear safety social net, they say it's communism, and we're like, what?
Yeah.
The safety social nets are so important.
Yeah.
Because no child and certainly no human should go hungry or go sick because they can't afford health care. And that's, as you said, that's a whole other issue.
Yeah.
Do you find that, because you guys are completely self-funded, do you find that some of the changes in state and federal government, did those directly affect your organization?
No, not really.
Yeah.
We are, well, I guess, actually, let me take that back. So yes, because when we were facing SNAP reductions a few months ago, if SNAP goes away or if SNAP gets limited, that puts an extreme amount of pressure and stress on programs like ours.
Sure.
Right. So we have a program called our community giveaway. We get donations of boxes and boxes of items from Amazon every month. I mean, it's nothing to get 30, 40, 50 boxes of random items from Amazon. We get everything from food to health and beauty aids to cleaning supplies to car parts.
And you're working directly with Amazon through this?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So Amazon donates to nonprofits, all over. And so we have a gentleman named Chuck. He goes to Chuck Gorman. He goes to Amazon with a van, loads up the van with these boxes, brings these boxes to Aaron's Angels, unloads them into our office. We have volunteers who come in and sort these products out, categorize them, and then we do giveaways. And we have one coming up Thursday night. And we invite people from different areas to come in, and it's usually a 2-hour process, and they can bring two grocery bags, reusable grocery bags, and they have 7 minutes to go through and pick out whatever they need.
Well, that's fun. It's like supermarket sweep.
Yeah,
Remember that
exactly.
show?
Yep.
But in a positive way.
Yeah.
You know, helping people.
And so when the whole SNAP thing was going down, we did one of these giveaways, and it was the second highest number of people we had come to one of those events.
Wow.
65 people showed up. Usually the average was about 40.
Wow.
So when the state or the federal government, when things happen where benefits get, either stopped or limited, we see a tremendous amount of increased demand.
Yeah, that makes
in need.
Makes complete sense.
Yeah, and as you said, we're completely self-funded, so that demand doesn't come with any funds to meet that demand.
Right. Speaking of events, you are here. We do want to promote a couple events coming up, but you guys do a lot of events.
Yeah.
What goes into the planning process for that? Who's in charge of that? And you guys come up with some amazing ideas. Talk a little bit about that process.
So we have an incredible board of directors, and our board is completely volunteer. And so we have folks who are in charge of different events throughout the year. And we have a fundraising committee that I sit on. And the fundraising committee meets once a month, and we assign tasks to different people, and we put these events together. And so this particular event with the Syracuse Crunch was an opportunity I came across a few months ago. I reached out, I found out they have a whole program to support local nonprofit organizations. And we have a fundraising game, Hockey for Hope, on Saturday night on the 24th, 7 o'clock. We have a link. It's erinsangels.com/crunch, where people can buy $22 tickets, which is an affordable ticket for a sporting event.
Absolutely.
And it's a game between the Syracuse Crunch and the Utica Comets. So I chose that game purposely so we can market it to both areas. I could appeal to the Syracuse Crunch fans, and I could appeal to the Utica Comet fans.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And so we get a percentage back of every ticket that is sold through that link based on how many tickets we sell. And we're going to have a table in the concourse. There's going to be an in-game silent auction through the Crunch. We're going to have 4 baskets that we're going to auction off. And the Syracuse Crunch will have some items that are going to auction off. And all those proceeds come back to us. But at our table, we're going to be auctioning off 4 Caribbean vacations.
Wow.
Yeah. And so you can come to our table, you can write in your bid and bid on those trips.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just again, to plug that, Erin's Angels of Central New York will partner with the Syracuse Crunch for a hockey night fundraiser on January 24th at 7 p.m. That's erinsangels.com/crunch. But also another one you guys have going on, you mentioned it earlier, you're going to hold your annual Purple Party on Saturday, February 7th to honor Erin Maxwell's heavenly birthday and raise funds for the organization's Feeding the Future Scholarship Program. And that's going to be at Monterey's, located at 688 County Route 10, number 90. And that starts at 6 p.m. Yeah. Talk a little bit about that event.
So we're going to have a spaghetti dinner. $10 per person or $5 for kids 5 and under. We're going to have music. We're going to have a quartet from the Oswego Valley Snowbelters.
Oh.
They're to entertain. We're going to have other bands. We're going to have the Cool Kids. They're going to make an appearance. They're a great band that also plays another event that we've done in the past. It's just going to be a great time. We're going to have food. We're going to have music. We're going to have entertainment. And we're going to have a purple contest, a purple costume contest.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So we did an event back in November called Friendsgiving, right around Thanksgiving. And we had so many people come in and have such a great time. So we're excited. We have those 2 events, and then we have other events that are happening throughout the month too. So in late March, we do our volunteer recognition dinner, where we give out volunteer awards. So, we have volunteers who work so hard for us all year long. We need to show them love too.
Absolutely.
Right? And so with the hockey game, though, we produced a video that I did send you folks. It's a promo video where a gentleman named Dan Frowley of In Motion Media volunteers his time. and we set up a shoot at a hockey rink with a couple of hockey players, 10-year-old hockey players, and that's to promote the hockey game.
Oh,
So, you know, we have people from all walks of life who volunteer and help us out.
oh, that's amazing, Jack.
Yeah.
Obviously, people can go to these events, the one on February 7th, the one on January 24th. That's one way people can help, is by attending these events. But because your organization is doing so much, tell people, you know, if anyone's listening or watching and they're like, man, I really want to get involved, other than donating, what are you looking for, and how can people get involved?
Yeah, so we have something going on right now. There's information on our website and on Facebook called our Super Bowl. SOUPER.
Yes, I'm a big fan of puns, Jack.
Right?
I
Yeah,
love that.
me too, man. So, you know, we're looking for people who want to conduct food drives of cans of soup. And, you know, we're doing it strategically now because what's coming up,
Of course.
Super Bowl.
I love it.
Right. So we're always looking for volunteers. We have committees of people who work on different things. So we have an advocacy committee who's working on the New York State Children's Bill of Rights. We can absolutely use people on that committee. We have a committee for our scholarship fund. We'd love to have more people involved in that. We have our fundraising committee, and we have a finance committee. We're also looking for people to join our board of directors. So if you have, and you don't necessarily have to have experience in fundraising, you have to have a passion for wanting to make a difference in the lives of other people.
Absolutely.
Right? You have to want to try to increase quality of life for others. That's basically what we're looking for.
Well,
so we need volunteers. We absolutely at events, also on committees, on our board of directors. And if somebody wants to get involved just running a food drive in their business or in their company, you know, call us. Our information is on the website. We'll figure something out for you.
Yeah. Well said. Well said. And you're right. You know, it's not that you have to come from a background of food insecurity or abuse to do the job, but you do have to want to make a difference.
Yeah.
It's not a collect a paycheck kind of thing.
Right.
And it shows with your heart and your story. And I just so much respect.
I appreciate that.
Give us the plugs. Where can people go? Whether you want to plug the events again, but you know, websites, social media, donation links. You go ahead.
So erinsangels.com.
Yeah.
Right. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're on YouTube. We recently had a volunteer create a TikTok page. Right, which I'm at my age, at this point in my life, I'm trying to figure out how to work it. You know?
Yeah.
So you can get all the information you need from our website. You can reach me by email at jack@erinsangels.com. My phone number is 315-374-0693.
Giving it right out.
Send me an email. Go to our website. Give me a call. Send me a smoke signal. I'll get back to you.
Carrier pigeons.
Yeah.
Why not?
Telegram, Western Union.
Sure.
Whatever it takes.
Amazing.
But we are all over social media. We're on the web. So there's no way you can't get a hold of us.
Amazing. You're an amazing guy. Jack Pflanz, Director of Fund Development and Communications at Erin's Angels, feeding the future of Central New York. Remember, 2 events coming up. Syracuse Crunch Hockey Night fundraiser, January 24th at 7 p.m. And also on February 7th, it is Erin's Angels of CNY, kind of celebrating Erin Maxwell's heavenly birthday and raising funds for the organization through the Feeding the Future Scholarship Program at Monterey's. Jack, any final thoughts? Anything you want to say?
You know, I just want to say what we're trying to do is feed the future of Central New York. We're trying to build the infrastructure so that we're not just feeding kids today. Your donation today feeds kids tomorrow. We want to feed kids today, but we want to feed kids 20 years from now. So we're working on the financial infrastructure and everything we need to do to keep this going, not just today, tomorrow, next week, next month, but 20 years from now.
That's awesome. That's so well said, because in the moment it is great to take care of people and children in the moment who are going through food insecurity. But I love that you think of long-term, of the long-term issue, not just in the moment.
Yeah.
And you take care of both.
Yeah. And so we have kids who were in the program and now they're in college.
How does that feel?
Right. That's
like to see these success stories. Yeah. That must be the payoff, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And the gentleman I'm referring to, Douglas, what a great kid. He actually came to our Friends Giving event and volunteered at the event for about 8 hours, good 8-10 hours. And we recently had a seminar where we brought in companies from all over Central New York to explain what the impact of hunger is in our community. We had Douglas come and do a presentation and talk about his story. So on a dime, he's willing to come back and do what he can to help make sure that kids didn't, that kids have a future the way he does.
I mean, you know, if there is a God, you're doing God's work,
Yep.
Jack. I mean, the full circle moment, for you, of what you went through in your childhood and what you're accomplishing now, and then to see, like you said, was it Douglas.
Yeah.
Seeing him come full circle, it just it must be so much pride. And
he's an amazing kid, and I just can't say enough about him. And I'm just so happy that he's working towards something going into his future.
Yeah. Well, listen, from all of us here at Good News York, thank you for coming on. You embody what this show is about, and we are happy to help get the word out. Erin's Angels of Central New York. Email Jack at erinsangels.com. Remember, I plugged the 2 events, but you can go to all of their social media websites, get involved in any way you can, truly making a difference in Central New York and in the world.
You know what? There's one more thing I want to talk about.
Please.
We have a petition on our website, our change.org petition. We're looking for people to sign that petition so that we can show lawmakers that residents of New York State want reform as it applies to laws that apply to children. So we're trying to pass this New York State Children's Bill of Rights. We need people to go to our website, go to that change.org petition, sign it.
I love that. And you have my word, as soon as I'm done here, I'm going to go sign that petition.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Because kids, some of them, if not all of them, they don't have the ability to speak up, and sometimes we have to speak up for them. And that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing.
So they don't have a voice. We are their voice.
You are their voice. And I can't thank you enough for coming on the show. Jack Pflanz, Director of Fund Development and Communications for Erin's Angels. Head to erinsangels.com for more information and how you can help. And with that, another episode of GNY Good News York. I'm your host, Mike Brindisi. You can follow me on socials at MikeBTV. You can follow us at Good News York or goodnewsyork.com. Sponsored by Ads on the Go. Get adsonthego.com. New episodes Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern, where I just mentioned. And we will see you tomorrow. Jack.
Every child deserves the chance to play without worry. But in Central New York, thousands of children are facing something tougher than any opponent on the ice. When a child is hungry, it's harder to concentrate, harder to learn, harder to just be a kid. Yet 1 in 5 children in our community don't know where their next meal is coming from. Erin's Angels is fighting food insecurity right here in CNY, and you too can join the fight against childhood hunger. Join us January 24th as the Crunch face off against the Utica Comets. A percentage of all ticket sales directly benefit Erin's Angels. Together, we can keep kids in the game.